Hey guys, what's going on? I'm that guy Dan96. What you're looking at in front of you is Ultimate Traffic Live. This is a new program from the people who over at Flight 1. They made Ultimate Traffic 1, Ultimate Traffic 2, and now this is their new program, Ultimate Traffic Live. I wanted to check it out because it's supposed to inject live traffic into your sim. It's supposed to take the ADS-B data from wherever they get it from and put that into your sim essentially, and allow these aircraft to fly around in your sim. It should be much more frame rate friendly, considering they're not having to read traffic files for the plane. So we're going to take a look at it today. If you do have Ultimate Traffic 2, you will be able to get a 33% discount on Ultimate Traffic Live. All you need to do is enter in your order number and the email address associated with that order, and you'll be able to get 33% off. So this came out to be, I think it was like $25, $28, something like that for me. So definitely worth taking a look at it, and I wanted to see how it does. So what you're looking at right now is the dashboard. This is the main screen. We can set up all the different settings. I've spent some time in here messing around with stuff. I do want to give you guys fair warning that if you buy this and you go in and don't change any of the traffic liveries, there are going to be some planes that are not right at all. You're going to find some United Airlines planes that are still in the blue tulip livery. It didn't kill it, but it definitely sucked that I had to spend about a good, hour and a half, 2 hours editing aircraft and trying to get in the correct liveries. But we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. So let's go take a look at the first setting here, simulation. So you can see the simulation starting time. It's configured. You just have it when you run the sim. It'll connect like that. You just tell it when you want to start the sim, and it'll all work for you. You can display the status board and flight map times in 24-hour format. This is all just kind of basic stuff. I was looking for a manual, and I don't know exactly where it is with this, so I'm still not used to what the limits in prepared and that sort of thing there. I'm not exactly quite sure what that is. You can set it up so it'll only display domestic flights or international flights, whatever you'd like. You can go to the statistics screen here. This here will show you can search an airline, and it will show you their routes and give you statistics. So they have 98% domestic air service. They have 2% domestic international service. They make up 4% of the worldwide flights. How many international flights, how many domestic flights, and whatnot. So definitely a cool little thing here. Take a look. I'm still trying to figure out how to use this, but that's what that is. So then we can get into the meat of this, which is the configuration. In here we have this set up. We can tell it whether we want to toggle Ultimate Traffic Live on or off, increase the traffic density, decrease the traffic density. I'm still messing around with that. One of the things I did notice, I had traffic density up at 100, and Atlanta was so full of aircraft it wasn't even funny. It was like too much. Every gate was filled with Delta planes. There were no other airlines there. It was almost too much. So I moved back to 50, and it looked pretty solid. I'm going to keep messing with that, and I'll find out what the best settings are as we go on. Nice that you can actually, change traffic density as you're flying. Awesome thing there. You can clear approaching aircraft, so if you're coming in, you're flying AI traffic, and either the winds are variable and they're using the other runway you don't want to use, or you turn in and there's a plane 2 miles in front of you that's going to make you go around. You can remove those planes, which is really great. You can also reset all the traffic in case for some reason you want to reset it. One of the downsides, though, unfortunately, is that every aircraft spawns at the gate, which means after about 5 minutes, all the planes that should have left since you've started it all get out of there. It's a mad rush to the runway, essentially. So that's still something I'm working at, looking at editing and whatnot. We can just set up target frame rate. If you set it to 0, it turns off this feature. You can set it up so, if you want to hold 30 frames, it will just automatically adjust the traffic every single time to make sure that it's holding 30 frames. Definitely a nice feature there. Max altitude ground aircraft visible, so once we get above 18,000 feet, it'll stop spawning in ground traffic, or at least make it visible. Distance to spawn ground traffic, so it only spawn ground traffic within 25 nautical miles of me. Why not? We can set it up here to add in add-on flight schedules. So if there's an airline here that's not, for some reason, in here and you'd like to add them, you can actually put an add-on schedule in and put them in there. So that's definitely a really cool little feature here. We now go to the aircraft section. This is where I've done a lot of the editing. So if we come in here, let's look for, I can show you what I mean. Let's just look for United. So originally when you came into Cape Air, it didn't have any planes for it, and it would put in this ATR 42. Luckily, I did have the Sky AI stuff still laying around on my computer, and I was able to put in liveries for that and whatnot. And you'll see here, even if we go into the default United, like 757, you're going to see here I had to use Sky AI. And I also found another weird thing with this. If I try to only put in the 200 winglets, I remove that. Oh, now it works, but I was having a little bit of a trouble, and I'm going to put this in their forum so they know. If you would put in one plane, and even though it was at 100%, it would cover every 757-200 winglet for United. It wouldn't let you save it. Sometimes I had to put in other aircraft. That's why you saw that 757-300 with winglets, and I used it once. I put it in there just so simply I could save the settings. So still working with that. Not exactly sure if that was just a bug, maybe the first time I set it up or whatnot. But that's what I noticed there. So you can go ahead and change it. And you could essentially tell it to pull any aircraft, any livery, and just throw it in there, which is nice. It makes it very easy to change the liveries and that kind of stuff there. So that's that portion. Flight sim, we can go here and tell it the airline density I have at 100. General aviation density is at 0. I think I can actually set this though to 50. I think that was the setting I liked. I changed it in the sim to 50, and I like that setting. And, you know, we can toy around. We can take general aviation, maybe move it to 20. This will be something I'll be messing around with and finding what settings work best for me. Installs is where you tell it where all your stuff is. Obviously, it just, everything is where my prepared is. But that's where my prepared is in the computers. That's essentially everything here. We can actually really quick. We can go look at the flight map. To get to the flight map, all you have to do is select Start Simulation. I was trying to get to it, and I just couldn't get it, and I realized you had to click that. So here we can see all the aircraft that are flying around. We can check, you know, Virgin 710, Dallas to LaGuardia, A319. So we can see all these planes. I don't know how accurate this are. Let's go take a look. Let's see how accurate this is. So I've started up Flight Radar 24. It's on the other screen. We're going to move it over here in just a second. We can see here we have Lufthansa 521 Mexico City to Munich, and if we look at it where it is in the real world, it's close. Well, I mean, close is relative. It's not exactly there. It's over New York. However, we can see that it did take a very similar flight path. So things, again, they're probably not going to be dead on perfect. Again, this is an early beta, essentially. It's not actually fully released yet. This is an early beta that they allow you to participate in. I am looking forward to definitely trying that out. We can look at like Delta 70. Let's see where he is. They have Delta 70. It just taken off and flying northbound over Georgia. And he is... Where was Delta 70? Delta 70 was over here. So the good news is the flights are actually showing up, and they are showing up with the correct aircraft and destinations and everything, which tells me that even at its worst, the planes are there. They may not be obviously directly where they're supposed to be, and that's part of the problem. You know, trying to put that into the flight sim is probably very difficult. And again, this is open early beta, so you know, I'm not going to sit here and say it's wrong or anything like that. That's not my spot, and that's not what I'm trying to do in this video. I just want to show you guys before you buy it, because there's really no pictures of it, and it's kind of difficult to find what it looks like. That's essentially what it is. What we're going to do now is we're going to hop in the flight sim, and we're going to go check this out in the sim. So I will see you there. We are on the runway now in Nashville, runway 2 center. We're going to ignore the non-legit flying I'm going to do, but let's go ahead. Let's go on over. Actually, let's see what the traffic density is. So it saves it. So it's at 55 now and 25, and as I go, it goes up by 5. So it's at 50-20. Let's take a look. See what kind of planes are flying around. There's a business jet, an Embraer Legacy. Looks like a potato. Let's ignore that one and let's take a look at this. So these are some of the planes I've actually put in. These are not stock. These are the... Sorry, ignore the fact here that the terrain's broken because I moved so far away. This is one of the add-on planes I've put in there, you know, to put in the 737-800 because Southwest doesn't have the 800s with the... They don't come stock. So unfortunately we had to add those, but that's not a problem. Definitely looking a little more realistic. Before I was here, it was extremely busy. Let's actually just up the traffic rate a little bit here. Let's see what happens. We try that. Let's try 80. Don't exactly know how that's going to go. I'm going to go back to the plane just to let it figure out life because I'd rather just let it try to figure out life there. So I'm going to wait here. We can see there's definitely some GA that's going around. I mean, they all look really bad, but you know, okay, there's another Southwest. We got some Delta 717s. Not looking too terrible. This is definitely looking a little more realistic. One of the things we got to work on, at least with Southwest for me, is I got to work on getting more liveries in there. So I got to put in all the special liveries, the heart liveries that are now coming on most aircraft. So there's some work that needs to be done. If you don't do that, you're going to get something to where It has mostly Canyon Blue. I think there'll be a couple New Mexico ones flying around. They still have like the tan colors, like the desert gold. And that's obviously a problem. I know that's just one airline and it's Southwest, but it's the same. I wish it would have done a little more work on repainting some of these planes and getting every plane up to date with things. There's still a lot of like American Eagle old colors that fly around that I had to update and everything like that. So it's definitely a work in progress, but let's take off and let's go take a look at this terminal. Doing some Top Gun stuff right now. Let's go take a look at this terminal here and see what it looks like. I mean, it looks pretty solid. I'll give it that. I can definitely tell there's an aircraft over here. I mean, it definitely looks good, though. I will give them that. The frames seem to be pretty solid. I do get a little bit of lags because I'm recording. Don't worry, I'm getting an Elgato game capture tomorrow, so that'll all go away, and I don't want to have to use OBS and break my CPU. But it definitely looks a little more realistic than with Sky AI and some of the other traffic add-ons that I've seen. Definitely looks a lot more realistic in terms of putting aircraft in the correct spots. Let's try something out here. Let's go to... Where can we go? Let's try LAX. Let's see what's over there. We're here in LA. We just loaded in some of the traffic. We went back to 50% because I bumped it further than 50%. And it just got, again, way too out of hand. So right now, 50% is looking pretty decent for me. Let's go ahead and take off, and let's take a look at some of this traffic. Oh, definitely recording and looking at the traffic is breaking frames. Let's take a look here. Alright, let's rotate. Yeah, this is definitely a lot of traffic. In a place like LA, I mean, you can see there's literally planes everywhere. So 50% definitely does put a lot of traffic into your sim. I mean, that's a lot of planes. The Southwest terminal is pretty much all full. There's a lot going on here. So again, you don't have to have your settings up as high as I do. Again, I'm just testing this to kind of see what it looks like. Ignore the ground. I was going around looking at traffic before I started recording and just broke the ground textures. But yeah, you don't have to have traffic as high as I do or anything like that. That's not the point of this. It's not the point of this video to show that it has broken frames, even though that when you have traffic up quite a bit, it definitely does still hurt your frames. I definitely don't think it's as bad as before when you were using good old-fashioned AI traffic that was reading traffic files. I still feel like that was worse. You definitely notice it, and I don't know if it's LA or if it's the traffic, because the frames are actually pretty fine when I'm away from the airport, but it's as soon as I go and look at traffic that it just absolutely... So I don't know if it's the traffic or it's the terminal. It may be a good combination of both, and it definitely seems to be smoothing out now that it's loaded in the ground textures and everything for me going around. So I would definitely have to say the frames are much better. I don't know exactly how many frames I'm getting, simply because, number one, I'm recording, and number two, I have that turned off, so I don't know exactly what my frame rate is. But it definitely appears to be a much better frame rate than before. Again, it's going to be tough. I would have to let you guys know how it initially finished for me, considering, just like I said, I'm recording, so that's taking away frames. I'm already using, what, 10, almost 11% of my CPU just on recording this, let alone, you know, whatever the sim's doing. So definitely using a lot more CPU than normal. We're loaded up now in Seattle. Let's go take off and let's see what we got. Around. I see Southwest. They appear to be parking in the right spot over there. I see some Alaska and stuff. I see they got their CRJ 700 there with the Alaska livery on it. Delta and everything. Again, most of these planes are not in here to edit. Here's an airline that definitely needs to get edited, Horizon Air. Yeah, they don't have these planes with that Horizon. It should say Alaska. So that's definitely something that needs to be updated. I was kind of disappointed by the liveries. I don't feel like they did a very good job of updating the liveries. I feel like they just kind of took the liveries from Ultra Traffic 2 and just threw them in here and were like, well, it's close enough. So that definitely needs to be updated. They updated some. You know, the American Airbuses and stuff they did, but other liveries like Horizon and Southwest, they didn't touch at all, which was a little disappointing. We can see Alaska. They obviously need to update Alaska with their new liveries. It would appear some of these airplanes, the jetways work, which looks cool. I don't know if that's just how the jetways sit over there, but definitely appear that some of these jetways are attempting to connect to these aircraft, which is definitely cool. So Alaska needs some updated liveries. We got American over there. JetBlue needs updated liveries. Horizon needs updated liveries. So there are some airlines that need updated liveries. However, I would have to say with 50% traffic, this is pretty full to me. Really happy with everything here, other than the liveries, which, you know, some airplanes like that, I mean, that could really use some work. But other than that, it's not bad at all. In fact, I really like the add-on, and I think it has a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future has for this. So definitely worth you guys going to check out. If you have Ultimate Traffic 2, I think it's worth the $25, $29, whatever it is that's in there for this add-on. Definitely recommend it, I would have to say, after only using it for about 2 hours. I like it. It's going to take some work, and you need to put some work into it. It's not going to be 100% plug and play just by virtue of how they've done some stuff. But that's okay. That's, you know, if you really want the product to work, you'll take the time and sit and kind of edit some stuff and get some different models and put them in, and you can substitute those models in. It's extremely user-friendly. Again, I'm not quite sure where the manual is for this. We will take a look at it. I'll try to figure it out where that is. Or maybe it might be online too. Again, I really think it has a bright future ahead of it, and I am excited to see what the future holds for this traffic add-on. If you did enjoy it, please drop a like. It'd be greatly appreciated. I have lots of other aviation videos that out. I try to do one to two a week. I try to put out just depending on school and whatnot. So if you guys enjoyed, please check out the other ones, and I will see you guys later. Take care.